This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let's start now. So now, first we'll now in today's session we'll talk about the CIG part. So as we discussed in previous session, like if you remember, we discussed about some different scenario. So since we have to work as that Ariba functional consultant, so like whenever there is a need to do some like configuration from system perspective, like for example, if we have to do not in the Ariba, so let's take the example of the SAP first. So whenever we have to configure such things, like let's say we have to define some RFC, we have to activate some business functionality, right? We have to do some email configuration. So in that case, who is doing? Basis team is doing, right?
Correct.
Same way, in the Ariba also, we will have the two different type of consultant. One consultant will be technical and second consultant will be the functional. So technical consultant that does not means like that ABAP consultant, technical in the sense like that integration specialist. So whatever integration tool, that's something we are going to use. So for example, CIG or ITK or whatever. So in that case, those are called as the technical consultant, and we have to work as the functional consultant. So generally in the real time, we are not getting much options to perform any integration configuration. So our job only will be to prepare the document to provide the data mapping. Okay, so even data mapping, I'll show you like in some time. We'll see like how we are providing data mapping like in the real time. So in that case, like what we have to do first, we have to discuss or we have to first understand that customer business scenario. So let's take example of the P2P process. Even these things I think we discussed in previous session. So even though Ariba procurement module that is providing the options to complete your P2P activity, that means you can create PR, you can create like that PO, you can create receiving, you can create invoice as well, right? And all those like relevant document that we have the flexibility, we can also transmit to the backend SAP system, either R3 or S4HANA system in the real time. But still, with that customer, they are totally free, whatever the approach they would like to select. So some of the customer, they are following the different activities. So some of the customer, they are following the P2O activity. P2O in the sense, what they are doing, they are creating the purchase equation, converting in the purchase order, and the receiving part, they are doing in the SAP Ariba, and invoicing and payment part, they are doing in the backend SAP system. Okay, and even apart from this, if you see some customer different customer business process, so they are creating the PRPO in the backend SAP system, and goods receipt and invoicing they are doing in the SAP Ariba system. So that something depends on the current business process. So how the customer they would like to adapt the process, they can adapt. So as a functional consultant, our job is to just first discuss with the customer and try to understand what they are expecting, like in the integrative side. So the customer will tell you that they are planning to create the PRPO and the receiving on the Ariba, and invoicing they have to do in the backend SAP system. Or if the customer will tell you like they are going to create the PRPO in the backend SAP system, and rest of the part they would like to create in the Ariba system. So accordingly that we have to design the system in the sense accordingly we have to prepare the like our functional spec, and we have to submit to the our Ariba team, or we have to submit to the our integration consultant, and accordingly they will design the system. Okay, so integration is a very important, that's something we have to like follow, we have to discuss with the customer. But though we'll not have to perform the configuration from the integration point of view, but few of the configuration we have to do, and if we have, yes, we have to do. And also that as a functional consultant or as a solution architect, it is also necessary to know that integration process. Okay,
Okay.
1 second please. So we should know like how the integration is going on, whatever the integration options that something is being used, and how the process like process flow looks like. That's something we should know. Okay, or even some of the people they would like to if they have the knowledge about the like the integration tools as well, so they can also play as the techno functional consultant in the Ariba also. That means they can take care of the technical consultant part, they can also take care of the functional consultant part as well. So whenever that they will require like to perform some configuration, and if they will have the access, they can perform some configuration about this 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 that integration configuration as well, and functional configuration definitely they have to do. This is one thing. Second thing is that nowadays whenever you will give like just for your information, so whenever you will give some like of the interview, so the in most of the interview, the peoples are asking about the integration part as well. So they are asking some like high level questions like have you done any configuration in the integration? If you will say yes, so they will ask you like which integration tool, that's something you use to configure. You have to tell them like XYZ. So again they will ask like can you please brief me some of the configuration, or what is that integration tool, what is the benefit of that. So some questions that you may face during the interview as well. So it is very essential. It is very that mandatory to know about the integration part. Okay. So as we discussed earlier, that Ariba is offering that two different tools now, like to integrate that system. So basically, Ariba is categorized that. Let me just open this one notepad. All right. So earlier that Ariba were offering the different the integration connectivity. So we have earlier that CI, that is cloud integration, right? We have the web service, right? So like that we earlier we had the different like options to integrate the system, but nowadays that SAP Ariba they they just categorize the different integration tool, and they are recommending to go based upon your the current system customer backend SAP backend system landscape, that they are giving the options to choose to select that particular integration tool. So nowadays that we will have the only two option. One option is that CIG, and CIG stands for the Cloud Integration Gateway. Second option is that ITK, and ITK stands for the Integration Toolkit. Okay, so basically in which cases, in which condition that customer they have to go with the CIG, in case if you have SAP system. Same way, in when or in which cases we have to go, the customer they have to go with the ITK if you have non-SAP system. Okay, that means if the customer they have their backend system as the SAP, in that case we have to go with the CIG. And in case if you have the non-SAP system, so for example, let's say PeopleSoft, Maximo, Oracle. So in all the cases we have to go only with the ITK. Okay,
Okay.
and as the CIG product is the SAP Ariba product, and earlier instead of the CIG we were using the CI. So might be you heard about this CI7, CI9, right? So CI is nothing. CI means cloud integration, and CI7, CI9 is the the version of the cloud integration. But nowadays Ariba SAP has decided to retire the CI. So CI is going to retire in 2023, and that CIG is already in the market, and CIG also the free of cost as well, that is coming along with the subscription fees as well. So the customer they do not have to pay anything for the CIG. That is why SAP Ariba is recommending to go with the CIG in case if you have SAP system. But in certain case, if the customer they have non-SAP system, they have to go with the ITK. Okay, so since we are on the SAP background, so we will not talk about the ITK, we'll talk about the CIG, because CIG is going to be more popular as compared to ITK, and we will get a chance to work only in the CIG.
Okay.
All right. All right. So now first we'll talk about what is CIG. So basically, just to understand what is CIG, so let's take one quick example. So earlier, if you just go back 2 to 3 years ago or 4 to 5 years before, So that time, that whenever that we are talking the an integration part to the customer, so the customer they are very worried. Why they worried? Because that time that integration part is taking like high cycle time, that requires high, like longer cycle time to perform the setup. Even the speed of that our that integration, it was also very slow, so they are not getting that the data in the real time. So there are like some some that whatever the information they are getting, so that was not in the real time, and even it was the very complex as well. So complex in the sense like we require the different peoples just to set up that to perform that all the configuration of the integration perspective. That means customer they have to incur like a little bit high cost to like set up that integration with any of the system. Okay, so instead of that, that SAP has given one very simple solution. So one very simple solution means just plug in and play. Plug in and play in the sense how we are connecting that, let's say, adapter with the mobile handset, right? So what we are doing, we are simply just plugging, like we're just using adapter, we are plugging in the like electric board, and we are just plugging with that our handset, and we are starting the charging part. Same way, SAP has given the CIG part. So CIG is nothing. CIG is just only the plug in and play. Plug in and play in the sense like we have to perform very few configuration, very few and very basic configuration, and with the very basic configuration, we can simply integrate that the SAP system with the Ariba. Okay, and it is very simple in the sense whatever configuration, that's something that we have to do. Even if we have to do, we can simply perform those configuration. Okay, so nothing much is a technical, it's a very simple, and also it is a self service in the sense same way, like if you want to perform, you can simply perform. You can simply go there on the SAP like a CIG portal, and from CIG portal we can simply perform that particular configuration in the CIG portal. Okay, and with the help of the CIG, the speed is also become faster. Speed become faster in the sense that means that means there are two sense. One sense is that you will get the real time data, so there will not be any lag, and the system will transmit the information in the real time. Second thing is that the implementation time cycle time is very less in the CIG implementation. So like it will require very less time to integrate like the SAP system with the SAP Ariba. Okay, so that is the CIG. Okay, so CIG means we have to understand simply that simple self-service and speed. All right, and whenever the customer they will have only like a SAP system, in that case only we have to use the CIG.
Okay.
All right, now we'll move to the next. So let's assume that you are discussing with one of the customer, and the customer they are planning like they are buying the TSA like a Ariba like a subscription, and they also have given the requirement to you like they would like to see that integration environment, that means they want the integration with the Ariba system. So you are in the discussion with the customer. So in that case, the first question that the customer will ask to you, and what will be the first question? The first question will come like either the customer, that current system of the current landscape of the customer is ready to use the CIG or not, right? We cannot blindly like either implement the CIG. We also have to check the prerequisite, either the current system the customer current
Capable
like
or not?
landscape able or not, either like it will be able to handle this CIG or not. So that's something also we have to take care. That means in overall we have to also make sure the system readiness. If system is ready, then only we'll able to use CIG. Otherwise, if system is not ready, we cannot use the CIG. Right. So for that, that Ariba has given, I mean SAP has given the support matrix as well. So that with the help of support matrix, we can simply find out like, okay, these are the activity. That's something like that we have to take care. We have to see first, like whenever any of the customer they would like to go with the CIG. Okay. So before going to this part, this part, let me just add one point here. So basically, Ariba is providing this that integration configuration as that the complete configuration guide. So even in the real time also, we do not have to worry from that like a like a integration configuration point part as well, because that a document is already available on the aribaconnect.com, that is that integration configuration guide. And in the document, Ariba has like given that step by step process of the configuration. So as I said earlier, around 95 to 96% configuration will be the same for all the companies, even though if the customer, if the customer they have the different business process. So for example, some of the customer they are from the pharma company, some of the customer they have the oil and gas industry, oil and gas business, some of the customer they have the manufacturing business. So it does not matter whatever the current business that they are using, but in terms of the like integration configuration, we have to follow the same process for all the customers. So that is why SAP has given that that standard, like the integration guide. So integration configuration guide is easily available on the Ariba Connect site as well. So in the real time, even not only by us, even like when that integration consultant, they are also like initiating the like integration configuration, they are also referring the same document. And in the document, it is given the step by step process, and only we have to follow that step by step process. So by like referring the document, we can simply perform all the configuration. Okay, so this
Okay.
information is also available on the Ariba Connect site as well. And even like those documents are up to date document. It's not like that, like that is old document. So even Ariba is also updating document on the frequent basis, like whenever if there is any changes.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so now we'll discuss about the support matrix. So in case of support matrix, that there are two cases. One case is that like that one of the customer they may have like SAP R3 system, and some customer they may have S/4HANA system. So in case of the like R3 customer, so whenever we have to use the CIG, so R3 customer should have that SAP ERP 6.0 or higher version. So that means if the customer they have the ERP 6.0 or higher version, in that case only you will able to use the CIG. And if the customer is like is not available, is not there on the ERP 6.0, so let's say some of the customer they are on the ERP 4.6. So in that case, that their system is not capable to manage this CIG part. So in that case, they have to run the two different project. One project will be that upgradation was the ERP 4.6 to ERP 6.0. Then only will able to use the CIG. Okay. Otherwise, like if they're not agreed, like to upgrade from the ERP 4.6 to 6.0, in that case, will not be able to use that CIG. We have to work on some different approach. So apart from this, like ERP 6.0 version, so whatever the enhancement package the customer they have, like ESP 0 to ESP like 8 or whatever, that's something that does not matter. The matter is that they should be available on the ERP 6.0 or higher.
Oh, higher.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the case for the like R3 customer, but in case of the HANA customer, so for HANA customer, there is no restriction. So whatever that version that customer they have, if the customer they have like a 15, like a 11, 1610, 1709, 1809, 2020, whatever. So are like SAP is supporting this CIG for all the customer, like so whatever version they have, that does not matter. So we can simply like use the CIG on that HANA system. Okay. So
Okay.
this is something like we have to like see. So during like before like that installing the CIG part. Apart from this, like we have some like other like software components as well. So this is something like that in the second we can see that add on for SAP ERP or S/4HANA. So basically that Ariba is I mean the SAP is offering the different add-on for that like our R3 system or for HANA system. So that's something like we have to install. So even if you have any of the R3 system as of now, if you go there and just like go in the configuration part, just execute this SPRO IMG, and in the last configuration, you may have the one configuration that is integration with the other SAP component. Okay.
Yes.
So integration with other SAP component is that area is the place where we'll have that different integration configuration. So as of now, this configuration will be available, but only you will not have the CIG specific configuration. Okay, why the CIG specific configuration is not be available? Because whenever we have to implement the CIG, so first we have to download some add-on, and once you will download the add-on, then you will have the option, then the system will bring all the configuration in this your like a configuration path, and you will find out all the configuration. Same way in the HANA also. So even though in the HANA we have some like that native integration is there. So native integration in there in the sense like again you may have some like a different option in that integration with other SAP component, but still the CIG like a configuration like information will not be there. Same way in the HANA also that if you will install that add-on, then only those configuration will be available to your system. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So apart from this, like there's some other like software component that is something like it is only for our information purpose, like for SAP ERP. If you have ERP like ESP 0 or higher, that's a base component. So we have to go with the Ariba CI 100 or Ariba CI 200. That's something it is like simply read and walk through that you can easily go through. Now coming to one very important question. Let's say that we are going to like implement like this like we are going to perform the CIG configuration with one of
Mm-hmm.
our customers, and let's say that the customer current system landscape is very complex, and they are already using the SAP PI or SAP PO, that is that integration, like this middleware. So basically
Yes,
PI,
middleware.
that a kind of integration middleware. So they already, let's say they already have the SAP PI PO, and this SAP PIPO is already integrated with multiple third-party systems. I'm not saying only one, that the customer, they have the different third-party systems. So for example, Sabrix, ReadSoft, Track. So we can take like many examples here. So let's say all those like different systems are already integrated with their SAP core component with the help of the PI or PO. Okay, so in that
Mm-hmm.
case, when you will discuss with your customer, so if you will ask to go with the CIG, so the first question customer will ask, what about the PIPO? So does it mean like they have to migrate from the PIPO to the CIG or
No,
no?
they just would have to have another layer for CIG.
Yes. So basically the answer is that no, they do not have to migrate. But sorry, the answer is that yes, you have to migrate. So, but if you will ask them to migrate from the PIPO to Ariba to CIG, so in that case, they will first, then again, they will ask you what will be the impact on the other integration component. So since they have different like out of box component that is integrated with the SAP component with the help of PIPO, so whatever the impact will be there. So in that case, if you will ask to them, like they have to use the CIG to integrate the other SAP component as well. So that and that the customer will say you like, okay, we'll think and we'll let you know. Because why they will say we'll think and let you know, because that he knows very well, like if he will go with like to migrate for all the components with the CIG, so definitely it will need longer time, right? They
Right.
have to run multiple project again, and it will also like include like 1 year or 2 year project as well, right? So same way, like it will require that more cost, like more time, right? So in that case, might be the customer will not be agree to go with the CIG. So what is the solution for that? So for that for that also, that SAP has given the solution that if the customer they would like to use, they would not like to migrate from the PIPO to Ariba. I'm sorry, they would not like to migrate from the PIPO to the CIG. So in that case, they do not have to migrate. We have the options that we can implement the CIG on top of the PIPO. That means, as you said earlier, only we have to add that CIG layer on top of the PIPO.
Yeah. Okay.
So this option is also available. So in case if the customer, some of the customer, they already have this middleware like connectivity, in that case we have the provision. We can simply configure. We can simply like add the CIG on top of the PIP. All right.
Okay.
All right. So now this is something I have listed, that list of the activity. That's something we have to use or we have to follow in order to integrate that Ariba to SAP. So basically we have to follow around a 15 to 16 step, like in terms of the integration part. So if you can see that here we have listed like what are the activity we have to do, where we have to do, that is also available in this slide, that is environment, and in the description like what we have to do or from where we have to do. So for example, if you see, the first step is that download and install the add-on. So that means, as we discussed earlier, that we required that a CIG specific configuration in our SPRO path. So in that case, we have to first download and install the add-on. So where from where like where we have to download and install the add-on. So we have to install, download and install in that our SAP ERP or HANA. That means in R3 system or in HANA. From where we have to do? We have to do from the SAP Service Marketplace. Same way, if you go in the second step, so in second step, we have to enable SAP Ariba Cloud Integration Gateway. That means here we have to enable, and where we have to enable in the Ariba applications in the sense in your Ariba module. So either in your Ariba upstream module or in downstream part or on the Ariba network. Okay. And what we have to do? So enable CIG settings on the Ariba apps. Same way, different like the step are listed here. So you can simply go through that. You can see third step, download and install cloud connector. Where we have to do in the customer firewall, and how we have to do SAP development tools, set up global settings, send SAP connectivity data to CIG, create and set up integration project, set up middleware, and we can see it is given as the optional. So in that case, if the customer they already have the some middleware, that is for example PIPO, in that case we have to set up this middleware. Okay. Maintain general setting, that is something next step. And even apart from this, if you move to the next, we have the other activity as well. Import master data, configure transactions, specify cross-reference values, implement extensions and bodies, add custom XLT, review configuration, test project, get ready for deployment. That means within 16th process, 16th step, we can simply configure and we can simply like implement the CIG to the customer landscape. Okay, so out of 16, one step is the like optional, that is your like this setup of the middleware like connectivity. But apart from that, every step that we have to follow. So if you see just high level overview, just like process step, so some of the like a configuration we can able to understand, but some of the configuration we cannot understand. I mean, we are not in the position to understand. For example, add custom XLT, XSLT, right? So basically, if you see this XSLT, that is something a little bit like the technical, and only that like this like I mean that integration consultant, they can explain what is XSLT, right? So that is why earlier I said like most of the configuration like that our CIG consultant will do with the help of the Ariba team. So basically Ariba team is also will also be available during the implementation or during that like integration, because during some of the configuration are there, there's something will not have the authorization here. Okay, even the integration consultant, they will also not have the authorization. So some of the configuration that only Ariba team will do. Okay.
Okay, so just you have to follow the whole every single step in order to activate
Hmm.
CIG
Right.
in the back end and in the front end.
Right. Okay. So this step I just added for your information, because if sometimes someone will ask you like what are the different configuration step we have to follow, at least you can brief like some high level step from the functional point of view. So that will help you to like give some clarity. So in the below like slide, in the next slide I have added that some of the like high level like that slide where we'll see that activity along with a screenshot. So mainly I have added a screenshot because that since we have some like all the access is not available. So for example, a service marketplace and like some development tools, that something access is not available. So just I have added the screenshot so that we can easily understand how it looks like, right? Okay, so I've added only the from functional point of view, like I've added only that those slides like which we can understand easily, because even though if we will discuss all step by step comparison, but if you will not understand or it will not give the clarity, so will not be in the that that there is no sense to discuss all those points,
Correct.
right? All right, so let's move to the next now. So next is the download add-on software component. So as I said earlier, like that SAP is offering that the particular add-on that or software component to the customer. So based upon that, like your current system landscape, like if you have the R3 or if you have that like S4, so in that case, both the cases, we have to download and install the component. So how to download install the component? So for that, we have to go to this site, that is service marketplace site, support.sap.com. So basically, this require that ES user ID as well. So we have to simply execute this URL. So once we execute this URL, system will give this screen, right? I hope you are familiar with this
Yes.
screen, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
mostly we are like searching some like KBA or some nodes here only, right?
Yes.
So,
Implementing notes and report
right.
incidents and everything.
Yes, right. So we have to first come on this site. So basically, it will ask you like to enter your credential. So we have to enter our credential as user ID. And once we enter this credential, so we can see we have the options here, download software. Okay. So we have to click here, this download software. And once we click on the download software, so system will give this screen, and here we can see we have different options here like installation and upgrades, support packages and patches, databases. So we have to first click on the installation and upgrades, and basically in the first step we have to sort in the ascending order. That means we have to select A to Z, because if you click this drop down, so we'll have the two options. If you want to sort in descending from, I mean from Z to A, we can sort in G to A, or in case if you want to sort in A to G, we can also sort in A to Z, right? So once you
Yes.
sort in the A to Z, so we have to click on the A alphabet only. So you can see it will looks like this, like A adapter. And once you click on the A, system will display, like sorry, once you click on the system will give the all the list, and from that list we have to select these two adapter, these two add-on. So one add-on is that Ariba Cloud Integration SAP ERP, and second add-on is that Ariba Cloud Integration S/4HANA. So based upon your current landscape, if you have ER3, you have to select only this first one, Ariba Cloud Integration SAP ERP, or if you have the S/4HANA, so we have to select only this one. Okay, so accordingly, we have to select that particular add-on, and once you select the add-on, that here the system we just in this screenshot we just added like only this for example, so for like R3 system. So once you come here in the R3 system, so again system will display this option like inside information, and next like we can see the installation option, right? So we have to click on the installation, and once you click on the installation, that system will display this information here. So we can see it is showing the three options here, like Ariba Cloud Integration Gateway, that is ESP4 to ESP8. Same way, Ariba Cloud Integration Gateway ESP0 to ESP8, Ariba Cloud Integration Gateway for the retail. So that is something different. So this is something like the basis team basically that they are the right person to like tell you which, or I mean basically this activity the basis team only they have to do. We are just discussing only for our information. So they will only like based upon the current system landscape, they will install the particular like this like this add-on. So once they install this add-on, then system will automatically like add like all the configuration in our like integration with other SAP component menu. Okay.
So we have to download based on the system they have, or do we have to download all three of those?
No, based on the system only, not
Only.
all. Three option is given back because the customer they have different like this like like the different like that system landscape. So if for example let's say retail, so retail is not the like universal system, right? So that's something if the customer they already have some retail industries specific business, in that case only we have download three for the one.
Okay.
All right, so this is something like we have to download as a normal, but in other cases like if you are like using that something like some, just 1 second. Okay. So in case like if you're using like the HANA as well, so in case of the HANA also that we have some different like that support package. So in the case of support package installation, again we can install from the same support.sap.com. That's something we'll show you in that like is like a screenshot as well. And another case is that like if you have the PIPO, so in case also that we have to install the different support package. So the same thing it is listed here. Like if you are using SAP PIPO middleware, in that case we have to go the same site and we have to click on the download software. So basically in this case that we have to download that some patches, I mean the some support package in this case. So like in this package only that will have the options of this other configuration that will be easily available. So this is something additional activity. I'm not saying this is only one activity. So the that add-on installation we have to do in all the cases in all the system. But if you have the like some middleware, so in that case this activity we have to do extra additional. Okay, how we have to do same way, like if you come here, so we have to come this side only, we have to click on the download software. And once you click on download software, so in this case we do not have to click on the installation and upgrade, we have to click on the support package and patches, right? So we have to click on the support package and patches, and here that we have to select here by category. So once we select here as the by category, system will give this option, and in this option we have to come here in this SAP content. Okay, so these options we have to select in the like this like a support package. So once we'll select this option, in the next system will give this options to you, a list of the like downloads option it will display here. So in this list we have to select here ESR contents in the bracket XI content. Okay, same way like once you click this one, so we'll have the options here like we can see here like different content. Ariba CI 100, Ariba CY 10 years, 100, 10 years, 10 years. That's something depends on again the same way like like a system landscape information. So that's something the basis team will again the check what is the compatibility is there. So accordingly they have to download that particular like the software categories. And once they will download the same way this additional configuration will be available there relevant to your middleware part.
Okay.
Okay, so this activity basically basis team has to do in that like real time, even not only in case of Ariba, even in case of any like your backend SAP system as well. So whenever we require to download any install whenever there's a requirement to install some add-on, so basis team is only doing, we are not doing. So
Even for the Ariba side, or we have to do an Ariba side?
Ariba side means for this like Ariba part to the Ariba implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, basically will do.
Oh,
So whatever the system perspective configuration required in the backend SAP system, so will the Ariba team will do. Sorry, basis team will do. So basically, like during the implementation, when the kickoff meeting is going on, so that time we are deciding like that how what will be the our team strength, right? So depends
yes.
on the customer requirement we are deciding. So let's say just a quick example. So let's say the customer they are planning to adopt this Ariba downstream solution, and they also would like to integrate with the backend SAP system as well. This is the customer requirement, right? In this case, what will be our team strength? So if you see at high level, so first we required SAP project manager, right? PM we required. We
Yes.
also require the team lead as well. These two person it's mandatory that definitely we require these two person. All right, up now like once you define these two person, now if you have to go in the Ariba side. So since a customer is going to adopt only the only the P2P module, in that case we require one consultant of the P2P part, right? And if the customer they have very huge like data amount, they have very complex business process, in that case we may require the two P2P consultant as well. But at least to be required one P2P consultant that is that completely, so that he can work on the P2P part. Okay, same way since we are going to integrate as well, so we required one integration consultant, so we required one CIG consultant from Ariba side, right? That means if you see the two resources we required from the Ariba side. And now since we have to perform the integration as well, so we have to go back to the backend SAP system. So that from backend SAP system point of view, we required one person that from the MM knowledge. So in case if you have the knowledge, if you are the expertise in the MM as well, and you do not have that, you have some bandwidth, because see, bandwidth is also the very important criteria in the real time. So for example, if you know like that different like Ariba module, so let's say that you are expertise in the SLP, you are expertise in the contract, you are also expertise in that, like the sourcing and P2P as well, right? But at a time you cannot work on all the modules,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Right. So in that case, generally in the real time, that our PM or team lead, they're allocating you to a particular module. So even though we have the knowledge of all the module, but like we also have the timeline as well. So we cannot say I will work on all. Even if you will say, okay, I can manage the two module, like for say, like let's say the contract and sourcing. So if you go in the contract and the sourcing, so it's not very simple. We have to do lots of things, right? So actually like we have to work too much like in that any particular module, like from documentation perspective, from testing perspective, from configuration perspective, right? So we cannot commit like we can do all the things there, even though they will not allocate to you. So definitely we require that particular resources for the individual module, because we have the timeline as well. That's something also we have to follow.
Yes.
So same way, like same way, even though if you are the MM expertise, but still based upon the bandwidth, if you will have the bandwidth, like if the customer business process is very simple, so you also have to work as the MM consultant. But if you do not have the bandwidth, in that case, that we require one MM consultant as well who will take care this P2P part, because we are going to implement the P2P part. Okay, so in the backend SAP system, we require one MM consultant, and now we also have to perform some system perspective configuration. We require one basis consultant. Right? Might be in certain cases we also require the two basis consultant, because that basis activity is the too much like in the backend like integration configuration. So sometimes that customer they are preferring to have a two basis consultant, but let's say only one. Okay. Apart from this, like we also require one ABAP consultant, but ABAP consultant we do not require as dedicated resource. We required some partial like dedication, because from ABAP side, so from initial level, there is no need to be ABAP to that ABAP consultant availability. ABAP requirement will be only like when we have to install the bodies and the enhancement. In that case only, or custom field mapping. So in that case only, we require the ABAP consultant, right? So if you just accumulate, like you just club all the team members, so if you see your team lead, you miss Ariba P2P consultant, and one CIG consultant, MM consultant, right? ABAP consultant, and basis consultant. So in that case we required 7 to 8 people just to implement your P2P module to the customer, right? So
Yes.
that is why yes. So in the case like so every consultant or every person will do their individual job, and even this is also like a recommendation as well. So like even though we are, if you are aware about all the process, but in the real time we have to pick only that process, that model where we are expertise. Otherwise, if you commit to work in all, so definitely you will get in the trouble.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Anyway, that is something different part as well. Okay, so this activity, that's something basis team has to do. So basic, once the basis team will done this part, so in the next that we have to configure that SAP Cloud Platform Cloud Connector. So that means now we have to install that Cloud Connector, and we have to configure the Cloud Connector as well. So we, in the sense that the same this activity also the basis team will do. So basically how they will install this Cloud Connector. So will come on this screen, this discussion as well, like what is Cloud Connector, or let me first brief you what is Cloud Connector, then we'll go on the installation process. So what is the, let's try to understand what is the Cloud Connector, and what is the need to install, like to install this Cloud Connector. So now if you see in your business scenario, so in your business scenario you are going to integrate your on-premise solutions to the cloud solutions, right? That means if you see that both the solution, both the platform, so you have the different platform. one platform is your cloud and the second platform is your on-premise. That means the both are the totally different, right? So how
Okay.
we have to link this on-premise to the cloud, or how we have to link to the like from the cloud to the on-premise. So just to whenever we have to link this like any cloud solutions to the on-premise, this is not the case only with the Ariba.